If you're new here, hello, beautiful people. And if you're subscribed, what it do, Sky Squad, welcome and welcome back. And in this video, I am going to basically talk about Young M.A.'s loc journey, how she got started, as well as Loc Misconceptions. Yeah, I did a similar video for Eva Marcel. You guys really like that video. If you haven't watched that, make sure you go check that out. Still leave me comments on it, still engage with me on it. Let me know what you think, and let me know who else should I like react or discuss someone's loc journey or something like that. Let me know who else I should do. But anyways, this one is about Young M.A. I was really inspired after doing Eva Marcel's. I wanted to do Young M.A.'s next. And so, yeah, she basically talks about her loc journey. And there's a couple of things she said that I think people in the comments did not agree with. So that is really why I want to also discuss some loc misconceptions. So if you have any additional that aren't mentioned in this video, make sure to leave me a comment as well. And yeah, let's just get into it, y'all. I'm watching Young M.A.'s Harper's Bazaar. She discusses her loc journey. She discusses what kind of got her to decide to get locs. Not everyone has the same reason for why they start locs. For a lot of people, it's not a spiritual one. For some people, it's just convenience. For some people, they just like the style. For me, it didn't start off as deep, but it is more to me than just hair and than just a hairstyle for me personally. So everyone has a different reason for why they start locs or why they begin to consider to do the loc journey. And if you've seen Young M.A. for any amount of time, you know that you've seen her with like her iconic braids. That just kind of became a part of like her image, like her style. You could always see her rocking that usually. And she discussed in the Harper's Bazaar that, oh, well, she said it was silly, like, oh, I had a sprained ankle. And I think she kind of was thinking, I want to, to make a change. She says she's growing up, she wants to make a change, and she's considered like even cutting her hair off altogether.
That's why I just got to a point in life I just was like, I just want to switch it up. I was thinking about cutting my hair. I got to a point where I was ready to cut my hair into the process, man.
But then I think she knows someone that has locs, and she's like, yo, I'm thinking of getting locs. And that same day, they make her appointment, and she begins her loc journey. And she says she started her loc journey August 2020. And then she kind of discussed a couple other things as far as like her maintenance routine or tips that she's done, and that sparked up some commentary in the comments.
We actually called her hairstylist on arrival, and she came and started my locs August 2020.
In this video, she talks about
I wouldn't wash it. I didn't wash it for a long time.
Having really dirty hair for her hair to loc. And while I think that is not something like I've never heard before, I just don't think, I guess it's outdated. I guess I would say I think that piece of advice is outdated. Now, granted, let me say this, because there's two things can be true at once, and this is very true. Everyone's loc journey is different. Everyone's hair type is different. You're gonna have different textures, even in your own hair, that are different. Like your front might be different from your sides, might be different from the back, might be different from the crown of your hair. So with that in mind, one size cannot fit all for everybody. There are some principles, there are some foundations that I think, depending on what you want out of your loc journey, that could be good to follow or tweak a little bit to fit what you need. But dirty hair is one of those loc misconceptions, and I think a lot of people can like. I kind of don't like that, because a lot of people might look at locs as like they're dirty or unruly or unclean, and just, you know what I mean? It kind of, there's like a stereotype that goes with it, and that's why I feel like this kind of piece of advice or tip may be outdated, because most of the comments have even mentioned this too. But for me, I feel like my hair does better when I introduce water to it. I really like washing my hair. I really like taking that time out to get any of the flakes from my scalp, any dry patches remedied, any flyaways or debris. I just like taking that extra time to really wash it. And you don't have to be overly obsessed with it. It's not like loose natural hair, but you don't need to let your hair get filthy, because as your locs, if they go through the budding phases, which there are phases through a loc journey, child, but if your locks go through the budding phases, you're risking any of that dirt, buildup, residue, anything to kind of get trapped inside the loc, especially during the budding phase. So I wouldn't suggest having a filthy head of hair, and that's kind of where all the negative stereotypes can also stem from too. So you still want to be about your hygiene. As far as my own personal loc journey, a loctician started mine. I can't remember. I feel like I saw her a couple of times where she would retwist it but didn't wash it, I feel. I don't really quite remember. It's been 5 years ago. I have to look back at my old videos. But I always introduced water in some form and fashion, or some sort of liquid into my hair, whether that was rose water, filtered water. I always introduced that as a part of my loc maintenance. And I think that also helped my locks lock. So your hair does not need to be filthy to lock faster. I think that's a loc misconception. But anyways, I digress. She also mentions in her loc journey that she doesn't cover her locks. She just sleeps with them wild, and unless she gets her hair styled, then she sleeps with a do-rag or something. Now, I feel like this might be a misconception. I don't know. She knows someone who has locks. They went to her hairstylist, but this also just proves like not everyone's knowledge is the same. Not everyone has had the same experience or would give you the same advice. So this to me is dangerous. So if you're walking around with dirty hair and then you're not even covering it, I don't think I even realized how big of a deal this was until later in my loc journey, that lint don't care if you just started or if you've had your locks for years. Lint will find your locks and will attach to it, okay? And I don't think people realize this until way later, until they notice these huge like lint spots because they didn't cover their locks or they didn't maintain their locks, and so that's a problem. And to me, covering your locks is one of the best ways to preventing that from happening, rather than having to make sure to be on top of getting any lint that's in your locks out. Like sometimes lint will just attach to my locks and my boyfriend gets it out, because if you don't know that it's there and you leave it there and you're sleeping on it, it's slow, and your hair is budding, it can slowly become a part of the inner nucleus of the budding loc and be trapped. Then you wonder why you have those lint spots. So yeah, so that's not something I would suggest. Through my loc journey, I have become wiser. And I think a lot of the comments also highlighted that too. Like as you go through your loc journey and really maintain a loc maintenance routine, you'll have more awareness of what to do to make sure your locks are in the best shape, in the best health that it can be. Because it starts with, it matters what you do to your locks as well as the inside, but it both matters. Please cover your locks, please. And use satin to cover your locks, like a satin silky bonnet. Use a do-rag if it covers your locks enough, and like check in with them, because between the flakes and the lint, you're gonna have a problem waiting to happen. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching Young M.A's little walkthrough loc journey. It just shows like how we all might end up starting a loc journey for different reasons or go about it in a different way. And I hope that, whoever watched that video, read the comments, or even comes across this video, can see, I've had locks for 5 years and I've definitely gotten wiser. Every single year I've learned something new, and whatever you do, please wash your locks, when it's appropriate, and make sure you cover your locks to protect them. And just because they're low maintenance does not mean they are no maintenance to locks. So just treat your locks with respect, carry them with respect, and they'll treat you back. So yeah, that's pretty much my video. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know who else I should react to or discuss on. Let me know if there's any other loc misconceptions that you've heard or that you had to unlearn. Let me know. I love your comments. I love it. And yes, for this consistency, right? You see these videos, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't. I'm uploading videos every single week, so you don't want to miss out on the fun. And yeah, you don't want to miss out on that. So make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell if you wanna, and yeah, until next time, peace.